Like I'm interested though, before we kind of dig into like core processes and whatnot, the structure of the pod, it's something that I teach in my training and coaching, which is this ability to not really be able to manage more than 8 to 10 people at any given time. I feel like that's a really core KPI that as a company begins to grow, when you have 10, 15, 20 direct reports, that's a problem, right? Because I believe that, to your point, which I think we're going to drop into here in a second, I want to touch on, is if you want to be able to manage remote workers, there's a level of accountability, interaction, oversight that is different than if you can stand in a service center and like kind of listen to what everybody's doing and walk around and check on them, right? Like, I think, you could maybe make the argument that you could manage 15 or more people and maybe not well, but better in an environment where you're physically there with them. But if you're dealing with remote workers, like, that 8-to-1 ratio really makes a lot of sense, right?
It does. It does. Yeah. I mean, for us, especially in the beginning, what we said was, okay, if we had 4 engineers to every about 1 escalation, you know, that's a decent ratio. If we can get 5 to 2, that's a great ratio. Have a team lead on top of them. If someone's out that day, everybody shifts down. So if you have an escalation out, that team lead turns into an escalation for the day. If you have a first line support engineer that's out, your escalation slides into that slot. So as long as you can be fluid with it, I think a smaller pod certainly works. Obviously, when you start getting a little larger, when you can have, maybe 7 people in a pod with 2 or 3 escalations. Now you're at that kind of 10 to 1 ish ratio, where I think that works out really well for accountability, and sustainability too, because at a certain point, like, it gets hard to manage and to do the one-on-ones. And that's another thing. Like, it's super important to get one-on-ones in there. Make sure you have SMART goals and um, the ability for your engineers to grow and get those on a board and talk about it. But yeah, we weekly one-on-ones are huge. And then when you start saying, hey, now you need to have 12 or 15 one-on-ones in a week, it starts
Right.
getting very time consuming.